you doing?
Yo.
Welcome back to Leather Helmet Fandom. It is August 20th on a nice hot Sunday. I believe there's only one more week of preseason NFL, and then we skip a week, and then it comes Memorial Day, right? Labor Day.
You would know more than me.
Labor Day.
Watch preseason.
Labor Day.
They take that whole weekend off.
Then we have Labor Day, and then it goes
Thursday is the first game.
Yeah,
it's like the 7th or something.
So it's good. We're getting close. We're getting real close. We have top 10 wide receivers, 11th through 20th wide receivers, and top 10 running backs. We will be doing our top 11th through 20th running backs later this week. But for today, we are going to get into the 2023
bust.
We each have two. I say, what do you want to do? Our strong one first, or our least strong one?
Honestly, I feel pretty
strong about both.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say strong, just equally strong.
Okay. All right. Well, you could start off then, since you feel strong about both. I'm going to save my more strong one for the second one, unless yours comes up and it's the same one as mine. But who is your first?
Yeah, that'd be a little awkward. But so my first bust of 2023 is Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh, it's not a lot of stats to go off.
The rookie. Oh, calm down. Yeah, I know, because he's a rookie. But rookie of the Detroit Lions, I think he was drafted 12th overall by them.
Yep.
Obviously, there was a lot of hype between the team, between the fantasy world. I mean, if you look at his college scouting and just like prospect, he does fit the bill of a very similar profile, if not even identical to like an Alvin Kamara. As far as his production as a college player, he's a big pass catcher, and he has a more explosiveness than probably almost anybody. So I get why the Lions are excited. I mean, even if he's not
basically replacing Swift, would you say?
Yes, but I think he's a bump up from Swift in regards to the passing game.
Talent-wise?
Yeah, talent-wise, I think he is just pass catching. I wouldn't say like rushing. I think DeAndre Swift is a tad bit better rusher.
I think his agility's better too. I mean, I haven't saw
but
much of
Jahmyr Gibbs is definitely a standout player for somebody of his like stature and just like how he's shown on film what he can do. So I get why there's a lot of hype, and I get why the Lions are excited, because I would be excited too if I was the Lions, if I got somebody that pans out to be just like an Alvin Kamara and produces that much efficiency at the NFL level. So the reason why he is a bust for me is mostly because of how hyped up he is. This man's going in the 3rd round of fantasy picks as the 14th running back off the board. So you're telling me he's currently being drafted as a rookie in fantasy above proven guys like Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones. I would even put Dameon Pierce, Miles Sanders above him. Getting close to like James Conner. Like, yeah, he doesn't have as much upside, James Conner, but he's just proven. Like, it's so weird to me that all these guys are like picks, and some of them even like 2 to 3 rounds after him.
Let me ask you this, since you haven't put it in your top 20. I don't think you put either one. Or we haven't done our top 11 through 20.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be in it.
But let me ask you this. Who would you rather have, since you haven't said this person either, Mixon or Gibbs?
Mixon.
Regardless of where they go, you'd rather have Mixon.
Yeah, unless Gibbs falls 3 rounds to the 6th round.
Right, I'm just saying, even if he falls, would you still want Mixon? Like, disregard ADP?
Yeah, disregard ADP. Yeah, I would take Mixon over Jahmyr Gibbs.
All right. Just checking, because I'm pretty sure they go like right around each other from what I've seen in live drafts.
Yeah, it's just
mock drafts.
It's just really just the overhype, and I get it. Like, it's fun to get excited about a rookie, especially as someone as talented as him. Because I'm not doubting his talent at all. I'm just doubting what he's going to be able to do in his first year in the situation he's in. So putting that in perspective, let's just look back a little bit about like the previous running backs in the first round of NFL drafts, that is. So only 29% of the first round drafted running backs have finished over 200 points in PPR, full PPR.
And one of them's Najee Harris.
So that's about the running back 17. So getting close to his draft position, he's at the 14th right now. So he would realistically need to finish around that above 200. So he'd have to be an elite first round guy, which I think this fact isn't really super portrayal of Jahmyr Gibbs because I feel like he could be in that top 25%.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a good O-line in the Lions, and he's obviously hyped up by the team.
I would only say that he could be in that 25% because he's big in pass catching. So in the PPR format, if you're doing half, you're doing standard. It's not in that.
Exactly.
But since he catches so many receptions, and Lions are known for throwing short.
Yeah, exactly.
passes.
So I do think that's a positive side of him, but with all that said, he has to be the top 25% of all the, and this is since 2000, year 2000. So you're talking like 50 running backs have been drafted since 2000, the first round. And he has to be the top 25% of that. So, I mean, like, yeah, he looks like he can be, but there's always a chance he just, I don't know, mentally doesn't get there, physically doesn't get to the NFL level right away. He just doesn't pan out. I mean, that happens all the time with first round picks between QBs and running backs. Like, they're very versatile change between college and NFL play compared to like a receiver. Usually comes right in, that's elite, and just takes over. So those two positions I worry a lot more about when they're rookies before they really get practice with their team over just a couple of months. Getting a little bit more into his situation, which I do not like as much. So Jared Goff does not get it done in the red zone as a passer, and Jahmyr Gibbs isn't going to be used as a rusher in the goal line. That's going to be David Montgomery's job 100%. So in the 10 to 19 yard range is really where Jared Goff is the worst. So he gets a 5.8% touchdown rate. I think he was the 28th worst out of the 32 starting QBs last year. So, I mean, he could be even worse, but
no, that's bad.
It's just bad to the point that he's not going to have explosive plays when it gets in the red zone, as far as like a 20-yard touchdown or whatever. Mainly because Jared Goff just doesn't have the vision and isn't that good of a QB to get it done to somebody that is wide open as a running back. Because obviously you have to have even way better vision for a running back who's a lot shorter and scrambling around for that openness.
Especially if they fall in the situation that they did last year where what did Jamal Williams have like the most 1 yard rushing touchdowns in like NFL history or something?
Yeah,
something like that.
Exactly. I mean, I think in general the Lions are going to come back a little bit in touchdowns. Like they were, I think, the leading scorer in points per game. I really think they were a leading scorer in points per game. It was either that or first or second. But yeah, back to his situation. So like comparing him to Kamara, because I really think that's his most comparable NFL prospect versus what he's coming in as. Kamara in his first year was only really good because of efficiency. So Gibbs could do that. But Kamara was going against a 7-year vet in Mark Ingram. So 7 years usually is when the running back starts to come down from the climax. I mean, Mark Ingram's an astounding player, and he was still good after a 7-year mark, which was 2017. But he wasn't the same explosive guy that he was in the past years. Now Gibbs comes in, and he's going against a 4-year vet in Montgomery. And that's usually about where like running backs climax. Like they're 3 to 5 year in the league is when they're climaxing.
Unless they're in that 25%.
And I really think Montgomery is an underrated running back. I mean, he's played on the Bears. That alone says like I'm underrated.
I think he sucks.
I'm stuck in this position. All right, well we can go off of what his stats are. So this is what Gibbs has to work against. He has to work against a guy who averaged 4 yards, or it's like 3.95 yards per carry, with one of the worst O-lines in the past decade, like easily one of the worst.
Last year, their O-line was not bad.
No, their last 4 years of him, just like because this is his
last
average.
Year wasn't bad.
Well, this is his average over his whole career.
Okay.
So 4 yards per carry. There's not many running backs in the NFL that average over 4 yards per carry when they're working with one of the worst O-lines. Like it just doesn't happen. And it's not a lot, but just knowing that he does get receptions and is more than capable of getting receptions. So he averaged 39 receptions in his 4 seasons with 80% catch rate. So not a bad catch rate, still gets targets. And I don't think that's just a product of him being the only guy, because there was like a Khalil Herbert, there was a couple other guys. And there's plenty of running backs, I would say, in the NFL that get even less than 39 receptions. Like even someone like a Derrick Henry, you would think right off the bat because he's not a pass catcher, but like there's guys like Travis Etienne. He didn't
Taylor.
get 39 receptions last year.
Jonathan Taylor doesn't get
Yeah,
that.
Jonathan Taylor. Like there's plenty of guys that don't get it because they can't do it as well as David Montgomery can do it if he needs to. Kind of like a Nick Chubb, I would say. Like Nick Chubb can do the job. It's just
That's not their game plan.
yeah, exactly. And Montgomery, to further go into him, he's a proven workhorse. So he's going against a rookie who's not proven. And Montgomery's missed 5 games in all of his 4 seasons. So just average.
it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, I really don't like him then. I thought he was just hurt more. For
He
some
was
reason,
never
I feel
hurt.
Like that.
He's never hurt.
Then I don't like him even more.
He had a
All right.
4-game span in 1 year, and then a 1 game in his like sophomore year, and that was it. So he almost never misses games. He averages 270 plus touches, and he averages only 1 fumble per season. So he's only had 4 fumbles in his whole career of
He'll
4
help
seasons.
keep his job.
So
That's for sure.
yeah, exactly. Like he's gonna keep the main role as the first 2 downs, and Jahmyr Gibbs is gonna be consistently working against himself as a fantasy prospect. Like he's gonna be explosive and get whatever. Like the team's gonna love him because he's gonna put him in winning positions. But when it comes to fantasy, he's constantly gonna be working for touches and efficiency. And if he doesn't pan out to be like one of the best efficient running backs, which is kind of what Kamara has been the last 10 years, probably the most efficient running back there ever was. So if he's not up to Kamara's level, then he's a bust. Like plain and simple. He's just not going to get that workload.
You know what it reminds me of?
So I am taking other running backs like every single time.
I think I agree with you a little bit because the situation reminds me of like the best comp I can think of situation wise is Browns, but a shittier version as far as Chubb with Montgomery and Hunt as in Gibbs. Like
Okay.
Hunt got no first and second down,
But he
runs.
was used
got
so
no
much
goal
by the
lines.
team.
Who, Hunt?
Like I'm saying, like he was praised by the team so much.
Hunt was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I think Gibbs would is too, considering
yeah.
you're drafting the first round.
Yeah.
He can do the reception game, and he can probably do the running game a little bit, but not anywhere close to Montgomery. Same thing with Chubb. Like Hunt can kind of do the rush game, but nowhere close to what Chubb can do.
Yeah.
You're saying his average rushing whatever yards per carry is pretty high. Same thing with Chubb, but like I said, it's just a shittier level because they both had good offensive line too. Chubb and Hunt had good offensive line, and now the Lions have a pretty pretty good offensive line as well. Too.
And like a lot of people don't know Montgomery as being a breakout type of player, but I really think he can break out big plays. Like his longest rush is 80 yards. I feel like he really can turn on the Jets when he gets good holes by his O-line.
I would say this is a good call if Montgomery is what you're calling him to be. Which
Yeah,
if
and
you go by
that's another
stat,
thing
sure.
too. Like Montgomery goes what 4 rounds later
Yeah.
for a guy who's getting 60% or more of the work.
Like
on
I
a
said,
good
it's,
O-line.
it's,
Like,
a,
it just
it's a
doesn't-
shittier version of Chubb, and I already didn't like Chubb when Hunt was there, but I just like Chubb so much now because Hunt is
I
gone.
don't know. I just feel like it's way too hyped up, and like banking on injury is a bad call for the guy that only missed 5 games in 4 seasons. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
That's
because he's
surprising.
too hype, I'm taking him like I say, he's not going to be in my top 20. I would say like 24.
That's
That's
Bold
a
move.
big drop.
it's a bold move. I'm taking in my 20th for sure, probably.
Yeah,
Just
but
'cause of
even at
PPR.
20th, that means I'm just saying
Not at
versus
20th. I'm saying in the 20th.
yeah. Well, I'm just saying 14th off the board.
Yeah, I'll have to go more deep. But we
What,
didn't
did
get
you
to
see
that
the
yet.
guys I was talking about though? Like, would you take Joe Mixon? You said,
I said yeah. I didn't.
would you take Aaron Jones,
That's a tough one. I don't know how Green Bay is going to be this
or
year.
would you take Damian Pierce?
That's a tough one to do too. Because
All right,
Pierce
so you're
doesn't
just
get much
gonna stack all your
PPRs.
guys? He's only yeah.
The only one I might pick over him is the last dude you just said.
James Connor,
No,
Miles Sanders. Oh, Aaron Jones.
Aaron
Or-
Jones.
yeah, I mean, like when you look at, there's other guys, but those are the guys that stood out to me. Like I would take instantly
Yeah.
over
Oh,
him.
that's gonna be tough when I rank him. But moving on to mine, my first one, my least of my 2, is Debo Samuel, which
Oh,
is
man, I knew you were gonna hate on him.
Josh's 20th.
Honestly,
Right?
I don't hate it.
Is your 20th rank wide receiver?
19th.
19th. Josh's 19th. Now I only bring this up because we all know, like Josh said, he's a dog. He could do the running back position like no other running back. He could do the wide receiver position like no other wide receiver can, strictly because he's the yak king of all yaks in my eyes.
Everyone's eyes.
Yeah.
Was
So
it?
it's just his situation. All right. So since he joined the league, the 49ers haven't kept their starting running back healthy all season. So that's pretty bad considering he's been there since 2019. You better find a charger fast, boy. You better not turn off when you plug it in. But anyway, since 2019, which is what, 4 years now? 2019, 20, 21,
Yeah.
22.
Well, this would
4
be the
years.
fourth season.
No, fifth year.
Sure.
19, 20, 21, 22.
Sure. However
So
you're doing
4
that.
years they didn't have a healthy starting running back all season. They had to like go to their second straight or something. His sleeper ADP is 37.5, so you're getting him in like the late third, late third,
Even early third. Early third for 12 teams and early fourth.
Yeah, early fourth, late third for the 10 league. Anyway, late third, early fourth, depending on
Fourth
which
round.
format you play, or how many people are in your league. His rankings the past 4 years. All right, last year 40th with 13 games. Okay, you missed 3 games, maybe 4 if you want to count the 17th game. And then you have, so he finished 40th. The year before that, he finished third with 16 games, so he played the full season.
Yep.
That was his biggest one, which is why everyone still drafts him high.
Yeah.
And then you have his 2020th, which was his sophomore year. He finished 96 in 7 games, so he's hurt again.
Yep.
And then 2019, he finished 32nd with 15 games, so he pretty much played
Was that his
the whole
rookie year,
season.
though?
That was his rookie year.
Yeah.
So you also have his injuries going against him because you could say, like, technically he's injury prone if he, in 2020, he only played 7 games. Last year, he only played 13 games. And he's only had 1 full season, technically.
Like he's kind of old, too. I don't know. I'm just thinking of him as looking old, but.
Yeah. Plus, he's on the 49ers, which we all know the past few years. I don't know what's up with it. They played at, like, MetLife, and just destroying their ankles. Plus, their running backs, like I said, they just have not been able to keep it. But the third placing year, let's just go over that year since that's the year he finished third. And it was the reason why people draft him still high to this day. And last year was just ridiculous. But his third placing year in 2021, Jeff Wilson missed 13 games, which was their starter coming into the year, while they had Mitchell as a rookie, and he missed 6 weeks of that same exact year.
Oh, yeah.
And on top of that, the weeks he did play, he was a rookie, right? It wasn't like he was like the Mitchell that we think of last year, even though he got hurt last year as well. But he did pretty well, and they got a good offensive line. But the fact is, he missed 6 weeks while Jeff Wilson missed 13 weeks. Okay, so that's a lot of workload they're giving to Debo in the running game, which is what helps his stats so much. And then on top of that, that same exact year, Kittle missed 3 games, kind of 3.5. Depends how you want to look at it. He only had like 50% snaps percent, so I doubt he played the entire game because it was right before he got hurt for the next 3 games. So he missed like 3.5 games, and they had Jimmy G, which is known for short passing. And would you not say they kind of just do like jet sweep / slot where they just give it to him, he yaks and he runs off and he gets a bunch of yards, and that's kind of where he makes his bread and butter as far as like points go.
He's not a deep guy, really.
Right. So they have Jimmy G, and now instead they have Purdy. Purdy might be doing the same exact stuff. He's definitely not a mobile quarterback or anything like that, so it's not changing dramatically. But they now have CMC, which even if he doesn't stay healthy, now they have Mitchell, so they're going to pass it to Mitchell. If CMC gets hurt, they're probably going to like balance it between Mitchell and Debo, I would say a little bit like they did previous years, not with Mitchell, but just in general. But if CMC and Mitchell stays healthy all season or a majority of the season, he's not going to touch much work. The most he's going to do is like jet sweeps. That's what he's going to do, like max. And he better get his yak, because if he doesn't get his yak, he usually falls out of the top.
Doesn't the new rule say you can't?
I saw them doing it in preseason, so I don't know if they can't do that.
I don't know. Someone came out with that, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, I saw that too. I seen them doing it in preseason, so maybe it's just like a regular season thing you can't do it. But regardless, you're taking away all the rushing game from him basically, especially if they stay healthy, and then you're expecting him to compete with Ayuk, which has been a proven factor, and then Kittle. Jennings looked pretty decent last year, but not anything where it's like going to take away much. Plus, their defense is just like dominant, and they're on the NFC, so they're gonna literally be destroying people. It's not like they're gonna be behind. I would say they're gonna be in the lead majority of the time, which means they're not passing the ball.
Unless Brock
which
Purdy
means
like sucks balls, but
Right.
he shouldn't.
if they're going off the what we project, everyone's projecting them to be, they're not going to be behind much, which means they're not going to have to throw it in junk time or anything like that, which means there's a lot of running game, and CMC and Mitchell are taking away from it. And right around where he's going, which is like 30th, like his thing, like I said, was 37.7 ADP. And people that finish from 30th to 40th in rankings usually get like 235 points to 250. Now, I understand ADP is a little bit different from finished rankings, but in reality, that's kind of where you're hoping for them to finish, not exactly where, like not exactly 37, but around there. So anyone like from 30 to 40th usually gets 235 points to 250 points. This man hasn't hit over 200 more than once, and his once was the year I talked about, which is 2021.
Yeah.
So if that year never happened, this dude would be like not irrelevant, but like 40th, 50th. ADP.
I mean, he'd be borderline irrelevant just because people wouldn't even know his name.
Yeah.
Like I only know his name because of that year, but not like I still like him as a player, and I'm glad like he came out. It's just like everyone really knows him as being the Yak King because he got enough work to show it.
Right, and it's just like it was majority of the highlights was like the yak from the slot and the rushing game. It wasn't like anything like spectacular as far as the receiving game. I mean, he's still a good receiver, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't anything like that. So like you said, if it never happened, he might be irrelevant or just way farther back as far as ADP goes. Plus, let me see something.
I feel like it's just hard to like compare him to anybody because there's nobody as good as him in as bad of a situation.
You mean in such a good situation, but bad as far as good team, but bad situation because you have all those components. Like
I mean, I don't really play too much in a good team, bad team because I feel like a lot of fantasy players can be good on.
You're a wide receiver, I think it is. And you have so
I
many
mean,
weapons.
it's always better to be on a good team, but I'm just saying, like in general, there's nobody as talented as a player on a team that's going to give him as little opportunity compared to others.
Right.
Like, there's nobody like that in the league.
No, I think he's one of one for sure in the league. But the problem is he's one of one, and that one is useful when he's in a great situation, which was 2021. And he's not going to be in that situation this year unless something crazy happens. And obviously, I just said 49ers get hurt a lot all over the board. But he has CMC and Mitchell. They both can pass catch as well. So you're throwing that on top of Kittle and Ayuk. And they're already going to take away the rushing game from him. So it's like, if you don't get a jet sweep for 50 plus, and then maybe a touchdown as well, you're not going to have a top 25 wide receiver rank that week, which is where he's going, like then 25th wide receiver. So as far as like his ADP, I'm not saying he's going to be like the world's worst, but as far as ADP goes, I am not taking him in anywhere in the third, anywhere in the fourth.
Would you like him as your third wide receiver if you somehow got
Where's that bring me at?
I mean, I'm sure it's way past his ADP.
It's got to be past his ADP. I'm not taking him at his ADP. So
but I'm saying, like, if he happened to come to you as your third wide receiver in your team,
fifth round or later.
But like your third wide receiver
depends what I'm drafting.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like if your team pans out, you still have two running backs you like, and your third wide receiver is Debo. You're probably still happy, right?
But I'm drafting him at the
wherever
that wouldn't work.
You like your running backs. I get what you're saying. I'm just saying, would you theoretically still like Debo as your third wide receiver?
I would love him. I would love Debo as my third. Don't get me wrong.
But not your second, right?
Not even close.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I agree.
But at 37th overall ADP, you're not going to get him as
I feel like
he's
going to be like heavy, like
not
inconsistent. Like he's going to be worth it if he's your third because
a player gets hurt.
No, not even that. He's going to have a blow-up game where he has 2 touchdowns.
The yak, like I was talking about.
Yeah.
He needs that yak, or he's literally out.
He gets one breakout play because he can do that, and it's like, oh, I won my week because Debo is a boss.
Exactly. And I think that's why
it's like
he's
on
off
the
my
year
top
he's
20.
going to be crap.
I think I didn't even finish my wide receiver rankings yet, but I think you putting him at 19 made me put him up higher until I just dug into him more and realized how much his 2021.
But that's what I mean. He
means.
could still land in the top 20 just because of big games, not because you enjoyed having him on your team.
Like his final total, but like as far as average.
But you'd be like, wow, I average crap Like
Yeah.
he won me like 2 weeks out of 14.
Right, exactly.
And you're like, that ain't worth it.
And that's just not worth it to me in the late third, early fourth. Sorry, I'm taking someone way better than him.
I agree.
Let me see.
He's off. He's not on my do not draft list, but he's pretty close to it as ADP.
I don't have. I should have done.
But I
that.
still can't rank him outside of it because I know he's going to land it.
I don't know who usually falls around him, but I'm probably taking majority of the people around him. I usually have that in the other one, but I don't have it in this one. All right, let's move on to your second one.
All right, second one. We're going to go with another running back.
Oh, you don't like the
'Cause-
running backs here?
Not
Got it.
really. I mean, like, I actually like the running backs, but I feel like
Just
some
a
of them
six.
are.
Like we talked about.
I just feel like some of them are like either one overhyped or two that just don't know how to rank them. Because there's a lot of running backs last year that didn't play whole seasons.
As far as rank
normally-
them in running backs or rank them in ADP.
No, rank them in running backs, but because of that, their ADP is all screwed up.
Yeah, I think it's their ADP big time, but I think people know how to rank them. It's just where they want to grab running backs is the problem. Like I think wide receivers are way more not important, but are going to get you a lot more points this year than running backs are. But anyway, go on. Who's
I
your
don't know. I mean, you can't really do much worse than last year. It was all wide receiver year.
exactly? But I mean, you still could.
I don't know. All I know is I do not like this guy, and he's actually drafted even higher than my last bust of Jahmyr Gibbs. So this guy is 12th off the board in running backs in the third round. So very close to Jahmyr Gibbs, but even higher, which in my mind makes no sense because I think his upside is even worse than Jahmyr Gibbs because he's just not as talented. And that is Travis Etienne of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He only had 5 touchdowns in his full season as the workhorse running back. Like he was getting all the touches.
There's no Jameson.
Yeah, like he had 255 touches last year, 40 in the red zone, and 23 in 10 yards or less. So don't give me that crap like, oh, well, he's going to get more touchdowns because he had bad luck. Like, no, the dude cannot finish in the red zone. He is not a hard runner. He doesn't know how to put his nose in the ground and get to the goal line.
No.
Like when you get that little percentage of like, so that's 5, he had 80% of his touches in the red zone went to touchdowns. Like that's garbage for
He
running
only
back.
has 4 games with the touchdown.
I don't know.
horrible.
It's just bad. And like I get why people think it might go up, and maybe it will. Like there's always a chance. Like I get it. Touchdowns are kind of iffy, like here and there, like blah blah blah. Maybe he gets 3 games that were 2. Whoa, he went up 1 touchdown. All I know is this guy is not a goal line running back. But the guy they
I was
drafted
gonna say, don't they have a new one
in the
now?
second round, Tank Bigsby, is
A tank.
going to get a he's pretty much a tank. Like I mean, name like that, and he already has
Looks like a
proven
tank
it
too.
in preseason. Not that I took much account of preseason, but just the fact that this dude's a baller. He was drafted high in the NFL, and there's a reason they picked him up. Like people realize these stats. Like coaches are still looking at it like, oh, Travis Etienne isn't getting it done. Let's get a compliment to him. Like Etienne will get us there on a breakout play to the 20-yard line, and then Bigsby will finish it off. I feel like a lot of teams, although they hate on the running back position, they still pile it on with as much talent as they can because they know they can get it cheap, but it's having that compliment, like whether it's a DeAndre Swift and a Williams, or whether it's
It's
a
like a tag
Penny,
team.
and it's just like having fresh legs on top of super talented guys that are competing against each other. Like there's no better combination for your team to win. So like I feel like a team that's up and coming, especially with Peterson in his second year as the head coach, I feel like they have the hype behind them. They're going to try to keep moving forward with that and use as much talent between like Ridley and Tanks Bigsby coming in, which furthermore goes into why I don't like Travis Etienne is he has not been used in the passing game. I know people are like kind of waiting for it because he was in college a decent pass catcher, mainly because he did it with Trevor Lawrence, the same QB he has right now. But I mean, this is his second year in. Yeah, he was injured his rookie year, but when you're averaging, what was it? What do I have down? 2.8 targets per game.
Yeah.
2.8 targets per game. And then you add Bigsby, who's shown that he can catch the ball, very capable, like Chubb or better, and Ridley being like the most hottest weapon in the NFL right now. as far as like not completely proven. Well, he's proven, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like he's just up and coming. So those guys are going to demand targets. So there's no way his targets go up. Like they might stay the same, but they're not going up, which 2.8 targets per game is trash. And it might even go down to like 2.
Yeah.
So he has no passing game work, which is trash for PPR rankings.
The only way he's going to get those receptions is like dumping it off. They're not going to scheme up a plan for him to go and like get an RB screen. Like that's probably not going to happen as much this year.
Yeah. And like last year, he was pretty inconsistent when you look at his numbers. So he only had 4 weeks that he was the top 12 running back. So out of those 4 weeks, he never had a huge performance. It was just consistently not bad because he was the workhorse. Like he was getting all the touches. Like I said, 255. He did have 5 fumbles last year in his one season. So again, it kind of hit against him. If Tank Bigsby can show, like, hey, I don't fumble the ball, I'm not going to lose the game for y'all. They might give him more of the first down work even, or when it really matters, like, hey, the game's on the line. We got a minute left. Hit this goal line work. Like they're not going to be like, yeah, Travis Etienne, you fumbled last week. Get in there. They're not going to want him in that position. So I think if Bigsby steps up, which I think he will because he's talented and he's proven already that he can take some of the role, it's just going to take away from Etienne more and more. And if he doesn't get that workhorse that he got last year, he's not going to finish anywhere near what he did last year, which still wasn't even that great.
I don't even know what it was, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I know it wasn't top 8.
Here we go. I'll tell you right now.
If it was, it's because all of injuries.
17th.
Okay, so he finished 17th, and he's 12th off the board.
He's definitely going to go up,
That's
though, because
insane.
last year
Up.
he came off up from 17, but he's not going to go anywhere close.
Bro, he probably won't even go up.
Maybe because his team gets better. But he also came off injury last year from the following season that like put him out.
So
for
he
the
should
whole
be
year.
more explosive.
And then he got hurt again in the middle of the season after getting recovered. So I think injury prone also goes into this as well, especially with how tiny he is. He's 5'10", 250
People make a
pounds.
joke about it, but that man, when he gets hit, he literally flies.
Yeah.
Like 5 feet in the air.
He's 5'10". He's a small running back.
Or I say
And running backs are
flies,
small.
like I'm like, this dude needs to avoid contact. He's so small. Yeah. I kind of think of him as like a weaker, smaller Kenneth Walker. Like both in production. Like I think Travis Etienne has more agility because he is smaller versus like Kenneth Walker has more bruteness in his run game. But they both put out very similar numbers. And Kenneth Walker's not seen that way, mainly because probably his injury right now. But he's not seen the way to make another step up. And I think Travis Etienne has just as much of competition with Tank Bigsby as Kenneth Walker does with Zach Charbonnet.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why Etienne's getting hyped up, but I'm not taking him anywhere near where he's at.
It's just because what he did when he was healthy.
Be in my top 20, like 20th. But that's like borderline. And that's like, you're talking like a 50-point, 60-point end of season difference.
You kind of already answered my question with that sentence, but who would you rather pick since this is both your hate and bust?
Yeah, give me some.
Etienne or Gibbs? Because they fall around the exact same area.
I'm not taking either. Which I had to pick one?
You have to pick one.
For upside, Gibbs. And I'd rather have upside.
I think I'm doing that too.
He's just unproven, so like
doing that too.
there's always a chance that he has the Kamara rookie year, which it was insane efficiency. Like he was putting up almost 20 points per game.
Or he does what Swift could have done last year, but obviously got hurt.
Yeah. And I like the Lions slightly better too in the running back game. Like I think they're gonna use their running backs a lot more versus like the Jags have weapons all over the place in the receiver game.
You literally have tight ends, wide receivers.
They have everything.
It's literally all over
like
the board.
If their offensive line was a little better and their defense was better, like they would be
Which they did get better. Their defense did get better.
I mean, I don't really follow it that closely, but if they get
it's their offense that struggled.
I don't know. I just don't understand how they're even. I think they're even odds to win their division, like negative 120.
No, Jaguars, they're literally blown through the roof to win their division.
All right, maybe not their division. Oh no, I was looking at
favored.
You know, what I was looking at not their division. I was looking at 10+ wins.
I saw that. Yeah,
I'm like negative 120. What do you mean, bro?
It's because they're so favored to win their division. So they're like, oh, we're definitely going to win 10. That's like what.
So why is it only negative 120? It should be way lower.
Oh, you
odds.
wanted more, like more negative.
It should be like negative 200. Negative 120, 10 wins, bro. That's easy.
I know it's part of one of my parlays for sure. But anyway, moving on to my last one. so we can get you guys out of here. Let me ask you this. We're gonna start here. He falls. It's a guessing game, right? He falls late second, early third. All right. People that go around him. Nah, we're not gonna say that because it's
Do
not
I get
really
a
helping.
position or no?
Nope.
What the hell?
Late second,
Do I look like I
early
do
third.
mocks
Yeah, you do
24/7?
mocks 24/7.
No, I haven't this year.
People around him that I rather get: Chris Olave,
Okay,
Tony
wide
Pollard.
receiver. Or maybe not.
Najee Harris, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Calvin Ridley, and Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I like all of them.
So he's late second, early third. Sleeper ADP is 25.2. Can't really say much because then it says, all right. Probably
That's
can't say
not
that.
giving me enough.
Well, if I say the next thing, it's going to literally tell you instantly.
Maybe, but
All
I
right.
have no idea right now.
That
I can
we'll
throw-
skip it. You're
You could throw it off names, but
just
ain't
throw
gonna-
one name. Screw it.
One name in
Yep.
the second round
Late second, early third.
that you don't like?
That I'm not high on now after doing research.
Dude, just give me the position.
No, because you're going to know instantly.
No, I'm not.
Tight end. Oh, crap. Who goes in there round? Oh, the only one there.
Yeah, there's only one.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Mark Andrews?
Mark Andrews.
That's
anyway.
a bust?
Yes.
Oh my
So his sleeper ADP is 25.2. Like I said, it's a
Bro.
late second, early
heard this?
third. This is a hot take, all right, boys? Hot take. And I don't care what anyone says. This is
I mean, I
that's
don't.
why
I
feel so
agree. It's
confident.
kind of iffy at that position, but
Right.
all right,
And-
roll it through it.
All right. So people that go around this finish 270 to 280 total points. We take Kelsey so high year in and year out because he literally finishes with the total points year after year after year around his place. So it's not like just because tight ends are minimal as far as or maximum. You need them as far as position goes. Like
They're just a big advantage.
yeah, it's a big
if
advantage.
your
So
league's
Kelsey isn't
some-
just strictly about that. He literally finishes around the same total points from like
yeah
the first
position.
round. Yeah. Like he's up there. Whereas Andrews doesn't. Like the people that finish on him are 270 to 280. Since becoming a starter, he averages 219 points a season. So that's like what 40 no,
Isn't he injured a lot though?
50. Let me get that. That's like 50 points off on average
Yeah.
every single season on total. So like I get he's the next tight end that probably will finish up, but this year he's not, and this is the case, and this is why he will bust. His best tight ends placings were first, 307 points. All right, that is very good and would probably throw you up in the first round, which was 2021, 2 years ago. And fourth, well, I lost my track. And fourth, so his best placings were first and fourth in tight ends. His fourth place finish was 192 points. You're drafting him around 270 to 280 points you want to get out of him.
Yeah.
And that was his second best placing, which was in 2022, last year, fourth. Those are the years that Lamar Jackson played the least amount of games. He played the past 2 years, he played 12 games each year. All right. We're hoping that Lamar Jackson plays the whole season like he did the 2 previous years from this. So basically, with Lamar Jackson out, he gets more work, even though obviously Jackson loves Andrews, and we all know that from when they broke. But stat wise, he gets more work when Lamar Jackson's gone, probably because they run the ball less and then they have to pass. But that's also when he played the most games. So of his career, the most games he ever had was like 15, 15, 17, and 13 or something like that. He's always gone above 13 or more as far as playing games. So he played the most while Jackson didn't play the most the 2 years that was his top. His top was first tight end, which is phenomenal with 307 points, and his second best was fourth with 192, which is a huge difference. Huge difference. People around him that I'd rather take, these are some of the people that I mean, you could say yes to probably all of them, which I already said. Chris Olave, you're taking him over Andrews, right? I know you are.
Yeah.
All right, Tony Pollard,
Yeah.
Najee Harris, maybe not.
Probably equal, depending
Okay.
on my team.
Jalen Hurts, if you want to
No,
go
I'm
running
taking
back,
Andrews
QB,
first.
taking
I don't
Andrews.
take QB there. I don't care how hyped it is.
Josh Allen, and same thing now.
Same thing. I don't take
Calvin
QB.
Ridley,
I'll take him before.
Keenan Allen.
Before.
Okay. So besides QBs, you're taking everyone around him pretty much besides Najee Harris, maybe tied. before him.
Yeah.
So everyone around him I don't like, and then he's already showing why he shouldn't be at that late second,
I
early
never
third.
get excited about him. Like, there's nothing about his personal
Because he's had
game.
one exciting year.
Like, I get, like, he's a good tight end in the NFL. Don't get me wrong, as a pass catcher, but, like, he's not exciting. There's nothing about his game is exciting. Maybe I'm just a tight end hater, and I don't play enough football, but, like, he doesn't get enough yak. He's not aggressive enough. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like a Jackson thing. Like, oh, Jackson was hurt. Like, he literally had the better performance years, which blew my mind when Jackson wasn't on the field and he was still healthy. Plus, Isaiah Likely is now here for his second year. Last year was his rookie year. Is he out for the season?
no. I mean, I don't know yet, but he's hurt.
Let me look into this. Isaiah.
I don't know how hurt, but he definitely went down in his locker room.
Isaiah.
But I don't think even with Isaiah Likely, he's not going to change his routes or his targets too much. Even though I like Isaiah Likely, but
Was unable to practice there. Anyway, if Isaiah Likely plays at all, I think he's talented enough to take away work from him. But that's like the least of why he should not be drafted here. It's more what I said before. And the other reason why I think he's a huge bust is because I love Darren Waller this year because his ADP is 62. So I'm ditching
I feel like you're
Andrews
just more,
and hoping for Waller.
Yeah, I feel like you're just more on the other tight ends.
A lot more. But also
because
because
they could land just as high as Andrew easily at that, like,
Yeah.
the point range you're talking about.
but
It's not
also
hard.
because he doesn't belong in that ADP. He's literally just there because 2 years ago.
I mean,
1000%.
there's a lot of stats that kind of go with him, like being the second most targeted
I get
per
that,
route
but
run
it's
behind
not doing
Tyreek
it-
Hill.
It's not doing anything wide receiver wise.
I just,
I mean,
like,
fantasy
I feel like he has one of the best opportunities of any tight end in the pass catching game. Like, he gets just as much target, if not more, than Kelsey. He gets more routes.
people are basically talking about like Kelsey, Andrews, or Chuck the tight end position. That's like how most people
Yeah, I
talk
know.
about tight ends.
I agree.
And that is not what it should be.
But I feel like it's because he gets so much opportunity, and it's going to be there regardless, because I think they're already dealing with injuries in the wide receiver
but it
range.
only has once.
This was just last year.
And I didn't even look at this. Let me see
Just
what.
saying, like, I just feel like I don't like him as a player because he's not explosive enough for me to, like, enjoy watching him play.
Right.
But he just gets so much opportunity. It's like, oh, do I really want to bet against him? And I think the Ravens are going to be better. They have a different offensive coordinator.
They just picked up Flowers.
They plan on throwing it a lot more.
Yeah, I would say so. And Jackson's
So-
just thrown a lot more in his since he came in the league.
Yeah, I just feel like, I don't know. Like, I get what you're saying. Like, he's not some tight end that's going to blow away where his position and the guys you're drafting him are against. But it's also, tight end's such a weird position. Like, the 3rd through 7th could be another 30, 40 points behind the 2nd.
Right. And when you're where you're drafting him, you're literally hoping that you're getting like I said, the high twos.
I feel
And
like
you
I'm
can
like
find people that are like going to help
if
your
he
team
went in
a
the
lot
4th
more
round,
right there.
I would take him all the time.
Yeah, but it's got to be like mid 4th still for me.
No, even the first 4th pick off the board, like 40th, 44th.
I have to have 2 wide receivers at that point. If I don't have one, I don't want him.
Oh, well, I don't take QB, so.
No, I'm saying if I have 2 wide receivers and a running back, I'll take him. But if I have 2 running backs and
Yeah, I get
a wide receiver, I'm taking a wide receiver there.
Yeah, I get
But yeah, I'm making this statement now. Darren Waller will finish higher than Mark Andrews and possibly
I like it.
Kittle. It's either gonna be
I don't
Kittle.
like Kittle.
It's either gonna be Kittle or what's his name on Vikings.
He does not get opportunity at all. He's
I get that. This year his position or his position isn't gonna be as promised as far as like what workload he's gotten.
I
in
like
the past.
Waller more. I like I think there's a couple other guys I like
The Vikings tight end. I kind of like him a little bit better this year as well.
more. Hawkinson.
Yeah.
He's
Either way,
overhyped too.
Either way, this dude is not
He's
finishing
borderline bust.
second tight end, and he's not getting 250 plus points for the total year. It's not happening this year. Simple as that. So for that, he's a bust to me.
I mean, like, I didn't look into his ADP closely, but I feel like Hawkinson's a bust. Like, at least from what I've heard, like, he's going as the 3rd tight end. Like, nobody else thinks anybody else.
Oh yeah, no.
and I'm like,
But I think he
I
I
don't
think he
know
has a
about that.
better opportunity this year to finish higher than Andrews
Jordan
does this year.
Addison's the truth.
Andrews got drafted like late second.
just
Same
saying.
position as this
Just saying, Addison's way. Addison, Jefferson are 10 times better than any wide receiver on the Rams.
year. Do you remember where Andrews drafted last year? Like late second, early third, right?
Like,
Or it was like early third,
I
mid
think it was
third.
third. It was third or fourth.
All right, and this dude went from 307 points down to 192, and people still want to leave him at the same exact spot. Are you kidding me?
His opportunity is high as crap.
Since when? With freaking
targets.
with Jackson in, he doesn't do any of that. He throws even way less.
Hey, I'm just letting you know.
All right, well that's it for it. Like I said, Mark Andrews is way out on my board. He's probably not gonna be draftable unless you said like he gets the 4th round and I already have 2 wide receivers. That's the only way it's gonna happen.
Home leagues.
I don't think it's happening in ours. But
No.
anyway, that's it for today. Hope you guys liked it. Let us know in the comments your bust of the year.
Bust East.
We will also be having our crush of the year and sleeper of the year. So look out for that. Look out for 11th through 20th wide receivers. And we hope you guys are as excited as we are to start the NFL season. Peace.
Hey.
Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.